Okay, example 3. In triangle ABC, they haven't given me any angle measurements, so I'm just going to draw any old triangle. ABC, I'll start here with A, I'll go B, I'll go C. Side length A is 9.6, side length B is 20.6, and side length C is 14.7. And they would like me to solve the triangle. So I need all 3 side lengths, which I have, but I also need all 3 interior angles, which I have none of. Well, if I have no interior angles, I'm not going to be using the sine law. It's not going to help me. I'm not going to be able to get a trig ratio to set it up. It's not a right angle triangle, or at least I'm assuming it's not, so I can't use SOHCAHTOA. So I am stuck with the cosine law. Now, you pick which side length you want to get. But to be honest with you, to keep yourself out of trouble, and I'll have to explain what trouble means later in class when we do the ambiguous case of the sine law. But to keep ourselves out of trouble, let's try to find the largest angle first. Now the largest angle will be opposite the longest side. So in this triangle, this is the shortest side, so that has to be the smallest angle, whether it looks it or not. Because remember, I just made that triangle, I just drew it any way I wanted. Go by the numbers. So this will have to be the second sized angle within the 3 of them, and this one would have to be the largest. So just take my word for it at the moment. Find the largest angle first. So, using cosine law, I need to be able to get that angle. Well, I can either use the formula working with the sides to get the angle. So it would be cosine of B equals the other 2 sides divided by 2 the other 2 sides. Let's see what I got. And I got to be careful doing this, okay? Because we got to use order of operations. So I'm going to start off with 14.7. I'm going to square it. I'm going to add it to 9.6, and I'm going to square it. Equals. I have to do that equals. I'm going to subtract 20.6 squared equals. So now I have negative 116.11 on top. I'm going to divide that by 2. That 2. I'm going to divide it by 14.4 equals. I'm going to divide it by 9.6 equals. I'm now going to find angle B by taking the inverse of 0.411387471. Negative. So second function, inverse, is going to give me angle B equals approximately 114 degrees. So this is 114 degrees. Okay, great. Let's go after one of the other angles. Well, the easiest thing to do now is the sine law, because look what I've got. I've got a side and an angle opposite it. I've got a side. I can figure out the other angle opposite it, or figure out this angle opposite that one. That would be the easiest thing to do. That's what I would normally do. But I want to take this opportunity to show you something. Let's say I want to go after angle C. But let's pretend I didn't remember this. Let's pretend the only thing I remembered was this. Side C squared, this side squared, is equal to this side squared plus this side squared, the other 2 side squareds, subtract 2, this side times this side, cos C. So in other words, what happens if I only remember it in this form? Well, what you need to do now is isolate for cos C. And if you pay a little bit of time and a little bit of attention, you'll know that if I move this over, and if I move this over, I'm going to get if I divide both sides by this, I'm going to get this. I've now isolated for C. See this negative? I'm going to bring it up to the top. If I bring the negative up to the top, then it's going to have to multiply through by this guy, and this guy, which is going to give you which you will remember is the formula that we had remembered in part 1. So it's much easier to remember the formula. You can go back and work with the sides formula, but it takes a lot more work. So finishing this off, again, I'm going to show you how I use my calculator. 20.6 squared plus 9.6 squared equals, subtract 14.7 squared equals, divided by the 2 equals, divided by 20.6 equals, divided by 9.6 equals. That's the decimal, so I have to do the inverse. So it's cosine inverse of 0.759582322. Now remember, I don't want to see that. I want you to go straight from here right to the final answer of about 41 degrees. Okay? Now again, that was really, really hard. I don't want you to do it that way. Trust me, I don't want you to do it that way. But if you run into a problem, you may have to do it that way one day. Okay, so I've got 2 of the angles. The third angle, we're going to use ASTT. So angle A will equal 180 minus angle B minus angle C, which is 180 minus 114 minus 41, which is 180 minus 114 equals minus 41 equals 25. And once again, I reiterate, doing this part would have been much easier using the sine law. And just to show you what that would have looked like, let's say I was going after angle C, it would have been sine of C over top of 14.7 equals sine of 114 over top of 20.6. That's all you would have had to do, and you wouldn't have had to do any of that work. Okay guys, I'm going to finish here and I'll come back with the last example.